Boy, oh boy. This is too early. I'm on my way to work, getting my hustle on. I'm about to go to a meeting, but before I go to a meeting, I was on my way to my meeting and I'm hearing all this BS. I don't know how it escalated to this point, but let's just call this thing a thing. First of all, don't threaten me. Don't threaten me. Because you pull up to me, it's going to be a problem. I don't know where's all this energy coming from. This gangster mentality is coming from over what? I said what I said and I meant it. I was responding to you. So now you want to play this victim. You want to act as if you talk about I don't bother nobody. Don't come for me and I won't come for you. You came for me first, Vivian. You talked about me first. And then you're going to sit there and say, all I said was that if you go on a trip, you got to have money with you. And I rebutted everything you said, and that's not all you said. You was talking about how I didn't have any money for some trip, and I still have no idea what you're talking about. And then you going off of hearsay about me saying that I was upset about the cancellation of the Vegas trip. That wasn't true. And I was rebutting that as well because you went by hearsay. Talk about, oh, if Faith is upset and she complaining, she wasn't ever on the list for this trip and all this other stuff. And I'm like, that's not how it happened. So all this not rah-rah you doing, knock it off. Again, I said what I said. And like I said, for those who you follow me, shout out to my supporters. Please excuse this because this is some nonsense that I have to respond to. And I'm not going to even entertain this any further because this is ridiculous. And I wasn't going to even go back on, but you threatening me now, and now you lying on me, talking about, you got all these reliable sources talking about how I came to a trip without money. That never happened. I don't travel without money or without enough money. So let's just wrap that out about because I'm not going to be spending too much time on this. Because like I said, my platform is not going to be built on this. Because I understand that I wanted to kind of get a little traffic on the beef sector, and I did because people still talking, and I don't know why. And Jay Wilson, come on now, stop it. You know exactly why I left. You know exactly why. It wasn't for no reason. It's because you disrespected me and the show that I was a part of. Now, you said that you didn't want to promote it. I made a little comment in your chat one time, and you just went out of nowhere saying, oh, you just mad because I don't want to promote your little show. And I'm like, what are you talking about? First of all, we didn't need you. We had a good press run, but you went on and on and on about the show. And I'm like, look, you don't have to be a part of that experience. I didn't force your hand on it. You didn't have to be a part of it. It was fine. If you wasn't no longer interested, you was no longer interested. But you kept disrespecting, you kept demeaning the show and demeaning the project. And that was my issue. And we was going back and forth about that. So for you to say that you didn't do anything at all, and you're not taking any accountability at all, that speaks volumes. Because that was the ultimate reason. Yes, we go back and forth. We have our banter all the time. I'll make a comment in the chat and you get very triggered for some reason. And yes, that was our banter. I wasn't tripping off of that. That wasn't what I was tripping off of. It was the fact that you were disrespectful towards me and the show that I was a part of. And you didn't have to do that. You was calling me out in front of your audience for no reason. It didn't have to go that far. It really didn't. So that was the reason. So don't play like you innocent. Just take some accountability for that. I mean, and like I said, that happened several years ago. And ever since I left, I didn't speak to you or about you. I was in my own lane, and I didn't start my channel until like May of last year. And so all this crap about Vivian talking about I'm trying to get a come up and I'm opportunist. I'm an opportunist how? How am I trying to get a come up off of Jay Wilson? How? I haven't spoke to her about Jay Wilson and this whole thing about me being on Lolo, that's the thing. I can't win for trying. I commended you, and I thanked you for standing up for me and speaking for me on my behalf in regards to the whole mother comment. And I did say I really thought you was going to drag because you do tend to whatever is going on in the beef sector, you tend to talk about it. And that's all I said. That's all I meant. I said I really thought that you were going to say more about this whole sour mold situation. I thought you was going to say more, and I was surprised. That's all. So what's the problem with me saying that? I thought you was going to say a little bit more. And I said, and I even said in your chat yesterday, that was my assumption because I thought you was going to really drag this out because you have a tendency of taking content, you take something, a situation, and you talk about it. Oh my goodness, baby. I thought, that was my assumption. That was my perception. So, it was my assumption. So, and then you talk about if I didn't say that, if I didn't make that mention that all this when I come up. How is that relevant? All because I said that was my assumption, that was my perception, that you may have, I thought you would have said more about me. That's all. That's all I said. So I don't understand why that had to lead to all of this. Because I mean, the no money for Uber, drooling at the table. I already discussed all that on Lolo's platform. So if you want me to, if you want my response to all that, you can go to her platform, go to that live, and we had a whole discussion about that lie that was told, by the way. So I don't understand why we still talk about the drooling and all this other stuff. Talk about, oh, I heard, and I don't understand. Like, I mean, I don't know who that other person was on the panel. I never saw that person a day in my life. I don't understand why he's even speaking on me or the situation. 'Cause I don't even know him, or I don't know this person, and I don't know why they're even inserting themselves in this, because this has nothing to do with them, and they know nothing about me or the situation. And none of these people, so-called reliable sources. What sources? Were these sources there? Were they there? Did they physically see me do this? I need to see video footage of me drooling at the table and falling asleep at the table. I need to see footage of that. I need to see proof, because y'all talking about reliable sources, and I've heard this and I heard this from that person and that person. I heard from what sources are these? You know, show them to me. Show them to me. And all this about me traveling without money. What are you talking about? That never happened. Like, y'all just talking to be talking, but when I respond, there's a problem. I had the right to respond, and like I said, I don't want to get further into this, because this is so not my brand. This is not what my platform is designed for. But like I said before, for those who are not familiar with the beef sector and what I'm talking about, that's fine. Just, don't worry about it, because again, just make sure you tune in, check out my interview, Bubs the God, that I did last night. It was wonderful. I enjoyed myself. And check that interview out. Focus on that. Focus on my content, because I'm going to be moving on from this, because I don't want to have to keep responding back and forth, but I have the right to defend my character, because my character is being tarnished at this point for no reason, because I wasn't speaking about Jay Wilson ever since I left him. I didn't, I come to his platform every once in a while and I'll check in to see what's being said, but that's it. I ain't saying anything about him either. And the only thing I said was that I do, even though we had our differences, I appreciate him speaking up for me. And then I said that I really am surprised that he didn't say much else about the whole lemon situation, like sour mold situation, like everybody else, because everybody else in the beef sector was talking about it. That's all I meant. So all this stuff about, oh, well, if it wasn't for her being all extra, I mean, how's that extra? How's that extra? And how did it have to lead up to, what's being talked about now? And Vivian, girl, like, please, are you calling me out my name? Really? Over what? I didn't speak on you. Like I said, we never had an issue before. And I said that on my video yesterday morning while I was working, hustling, So I don't understand where all this energy is coming from, because you exhibiting bullying behavior. I mean, because you coming at me talking about you don't want me, to pull up. Because I would make a trip. What? You gonna do what now? I don't take kindly to threats. So if you think about pulling up, okay, do something. You want to do something? Because I don't understand where this is coming from. Or because I responded to something that you said on Jay Wilson's platform. You said something out your mouth in public, and I have the right to respond. That's what I did. And I just left it at that. I made it like it was less than 3 minutes. And that's all the time I have for you, because you're not relevant to me. You're so unimportant to me. And that's why I was able to address you in 3 minutes or less. Because that's how much time I had for you to respond, because it wasn't no need for all of this nonsense. I mean, you talking about I don't bother nobody, and I said what I said, and I don't know why you came for me. You started with me. I didn't say nothing to you. You started with me. All I said was, that's not all you said. Not only did you accuse me of not having money, not only did you accuse me of not having any money, you talked about how I wasn't included in the trip, and that, you was talking, you're just talking with just all this static, talking about I wasn't on the list or something like that. But I'm like, but we had corresponded about the trip, and I didn't say anything about the trip afterwards. I didn't say anything about it. There was everybody else having commentary about this whole thing about me being stood up first by Jay Wilson first, and then by Sour Mode. That was a running gag among other content creators. I didn't say anything about the trip until other people discussed it, and I was rebutting what they were saying. I didn't say anything about being upset about the cancellation because I mean, I even said on my video, I have no control over who cancels a trip, but I have control over whether or not I decide to go, and I decided to go. And so I was also rebutting the fact that, people kept saying I was stood up at the I was stood up by Jay Wilson, and I was like, look, I wouldn't go as far as to say I was stood up, but there was a cancellation, and I was aware of that, and I still went, and I wasn't the only one that was a part of that group, but those that were there, those were a part of that group. They was able to meet up with Sean Bradley at the restaurant, and everything was fine. And I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to continue to, be, I'm not, this is so redundant right now at this point. This is crazy because there was no drooling at the table. I did not fall asleep at the dinner table. What is your, what the hell? I mean, are y'all really, come on, really? I mean, look, I'm about to go to work. I have a meeting to go to, okay? And like I said, continue to support me and my channel. And yes, I wanted to add, thank you for all. And like I said, by the way, this past weekend had helped me gain some subscribers. So thank you very much. And okay, so, and since Vivian, you want me to thank you for whatever relevancy that you think you giving me, thank you. Bless your heart. Thank you. I don't know what relevance you think you're giving me, but you've never been relevant to me at all. I mean, I don't speak on you. I haven't spoken on you, to you, or about you. So all this static you giving, you threatening me now, calling me out my name, you getting on gangster with it too. Go ahead, gangster boo. you know. we could both knock each other ball heads off. I mean, come on. I mean, stop it. Like, I'm not a fighter. I'm not a violent person. You talk about your woman of God. Okay. But I know I am, and I'm not going to I'm not a violent person, but if you think that I'm going to allow myself to be threatened, and then you think that you're going to come close enough to me to allow you to do damage, oh, no. Yeah, no, that ain't going to happen. You could try me if you want to. But there's no need for all this. I mean, there was no need. You came for me. I responded to you, okay? I responded to you. And I was just rebutting. Like I said what I need to say on Lolo's platform. I said what I need to say to you directly within 3 minutes or less yesterday. So I don't know why you coming up with all this heat with me now. All of a sudden you got all this smoke for faith as a substance. Okay. All right. Whatever. But like I said, don't threaten me. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. I'm not the one. Talk about giving me a 1 or 2 piece. I mean, I'm the only 1 or 2 piece you think about giving me some chicken. I appreciate the offer, but I don't eat meat. But thank you for offering, because that's the only 1 or 2 piece you offering me. So now let that sizzle in your spirit. Shout out to Country Wayne. Let that sizzle in your spirit. But yeah, I don't take too kindly to that because that's not even necessary. Now, like I said again, this is the last time I'm going to discuss this, but like I said, I didn't say anything. I didn't, ever since I left, ever since I stopped supporting Jay Wilson at that time, I haven't spoke about him or to him. I didn't say anything negative about him, and I thought we had understanding when I went to his chat yesterday, and I wanted to clear up some things because he claimed that I came in hot. No, I didn't. I just responded to what you said on your live. I just responded to what you said. So how I come in hot, it's so funny how it was like, Jay Wilson, you have this thing where you say things out of your mouth to people. And you say what you want to say, how you want to say it, and that's not a problem. But when somebody responds to you, then that's the problem. You make them problematic. You villainize them just for responding and challenging you to be accountable. Because I was responding. All I was doing, I was responding. That's all I was doing. I didn't say anything negative towards you. I was respectful towards you on Lolo's platform. I was respectful. And all I said was that I was surprised that he didn't say anything more about me because of what everything else that's been going on, everything else is being said. So if I said, okay, that was my assumption, that's all. So now you're going to use that statement to say, oh, well, if she didn't say that part, then all this when I've been, all this when I've been said. Why are you, well, how did you connect the two? Like, how did you do that? Like, what logic is that? One has something to do with the other, you know? All over some false accusations about me not having money and about me drooling at the table. Then this is so dumb. I mean, like I said, but thank you so much. I mean, if you feel like you gave me some type of relevancy, thank you. God bless you. Yeah, and please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Watch my videos. Check out my interviews. I have some great content, and I'm trying to get up. Yeah. So yes, if you want to call me opportunist. I'm sorry. Let me try one more time. If you want to call me an opportunist for wanting to add, to get more views on my channel, yep. Sure am. Yes, and thank you. Because I got some good stuff up there. I got some good stuff on my channel, and I want to keep it that way. I want to keep it in a more positive direction. I mean, I know it's going to be some mess here and there because none of us are perfect, but that's not what I'm on right now. I'm not on that time to keep responding and keep, and keep going back and forth because I'm not going to do this. But I just wanted to, like I said, because like I said, I've been ignoring a lot of people on here because, like I said, I don't have any reason to be going back and forth because that's not what I'm about. I'm not going to operate. But what I am about is defending my character. I have the right to respond to certain things, especially when it's lies, because I don't like nobody lying on me, and threatening me. You made a threat. You feeling real froggy, Kojak. Do something. I ain't never scared. But like I said, let me go to work. But yeah, don't do it to yourself. And like I said, whatever you take, you can take whatever you want to take off this video, because I know people are going to slice and dice this video and this commentary, and they're gonna take bits and pieces and make more of it than what it is, and draw their own narratives instead of actually just watching the full content of my video. That's fine as well, whatever. But again, this ain't what you want. And like I said, I'm gonna just move on from here because I don't want to. Like I said, I could go a little deeper into it, but I'm not gonna do that because, like I said, I already addressed everything I needed to address on Lolo's platform. But I just wanted to kind of touch base on the whole Jay Wilson situation, and Vivian just trying to act all gangster with it. Like, stop it, knock it off. Again, knock it off. And let me get to work. Let me get to this meeting. All right. Yeah, have a good one. All right.